tough decade to be a leader, but it also will be a very exciting and meaningful time to lead, with the right set of skills and appropriate expectations. Rebalancing will be an unprecedented leadership challenge. We need to focus on the future and look back in order to provoke that insight and action that we need to take in the present. Our speakers today will be doing just that. We shall hear first from Chris, who will be sharing with you his insights from the International Future of Work project. We shall then hear from Phil, just after our coffee break, who will share with you how Thomas Cook are responding to the challenges of VUCA through their employee engagement programs. After lunch, the focus of Emily and Ian's session will be on talent management and agility. And David and Stuart shall then share a leadership development approach that delivered real value. And finally, John will focus on the impact VUCA has on our careers and the world of work.
Hi, I'm Chris Whitaker from the KCOM Group. I head up all HR programs and strategy. Really looking forward to today. Speaking first thing about our company's involvement in the Future of Work Consortium and how the world of work will be changing in the next 10-15 years and what impact that may have on us as professionals in terms of leadership, in terms of development, and equally in terms of the different generations. So hopefully I can share some of that insight today and help people go away with some different provocations for their own businesses. So looking forward to today, looking forward to seeing what everybody else has got to say, particularly around leadership and some of the challenges that are going to be coming up, and hearing how other organisations react to these challenges. Big challenge here for organisations is actually by 2020, the first time ever, there'll be 5 different generations at work at the same time. 5 different generations. So actually, when you consider that, what does that mean for us as either HR professionals or leaders or communications experts? How do we fit our current strategies and approach to meet each of these individual needs? So I don't know how many of your organisations and leaders and facilities and communications, etc., already link in with some of these issues, but I think hopefully there's some food for thought around actually how we may need to change individually to make sure we can attract and start to retain some of these different generations. Finally, I'll leave this with you. First person to live to 200 years old. Anybody guess what's coming? Has already been born.
Wow.
So I'll leave you with that one just to think about.
Hi, I'm Phil Barnfather. I'm the Head of Organisational Development for Thomas Cook, and I want to tell you our story about employee engagement within our organisation. What do our managers need to do to drive engagement? So we know that, intellectually we buy into it, but actually what does it mean for us? What are our line managers doing on a daily basis? What are the behaviours? What are the things that they're doing that drive engagement? And I'll come on to a little bit more about that. How are people performance managed? So, and that's either through the formal process or ad hoc, the conversations they have with their manager. It's about the job that they do. It's about knowing that they've got the ability to make decisions and they're empowered to do that. And it's about the kind of teamwork. Do they have a sense of camaraderie? And you can imagine in the organisation, the kind of people that we employ, there's a real great sense of family and camaraderie within our business. Because we noticed that one of the other statistics we came up with is actually if we want to drive productivity, and productivity in our organisation is for every £1 that we spend on our payroll, how much does it generate in terms of revenue? Okay, so for every £1 that we spend on payroll, what we generate in revenue, and actually it's our line managers that have the biggest impact on that. And if our line managers are giving me support to do my job well, if they're talking to me about my career development and where I'm going to go next, and they're showing appreciation for the work that I do, I'm more likely to be productive than if that doesn't happen. So this is what our line managers need to do, and to put some numbers around that. If we increase our engagement by 5.2%, we'll increase our productivity by 2.4%. There's a rough ratio of for every 2% we increase engagement, we increase productivity by 1%. To that point, that the chief exec looked and he said, we've not given this enough focus. we need to focus more on this. This needs to be on every board meeting that we're on in order to start to make sure that we are driving engagement with other people. And actually, that's absolutely great. So the kind of thing you want to do is to make sure it's on the agenda, it's up there, and it's talked about as much as the financials. Because actually, for me, this is, in our organisation, this is one of the key elements for us in order for us to deliver our financials.
My name's Emily Dean, I'm the HR Director of Originum. I'm talking later on this afternoon about talent and change in an agile workforce. It's quite a difficult area to get your head around, but I'm hoping to put some good discussion in place about how it could work.
Hi, I'm Ian Knowlson. I'm here from Originum at the Oak Ridge Forum, and we're talking today about talent management and a agile, flexible workforce. We're looking at various models and how the world is changing, particularly due to economic times, and how businesses are using and increasingly using more and more temporary, agile workforce to supplement their existing teams. And we'll hopefully be talking about new ways of managing those teams and new business models and a whole raft of other interesting and exciting topics.
It's possible to work with employment partners who are in the training sector, who take long-term unemployed people and bring them into your talent pool, upskill them. So I worked, as I said, with Hayes, and we had a scheme in the London Borough of Haringey where we took long-term unemployed people, put them through training programs and trained people in a whole raft of skills. Some of them were manual, but some of them were in social care, in lifeguards and other sort of semi-skilled professions, and bringing people into work. And because we knew that the council were going to have several 100 jobs over the year, we could train people up, and then when those rate requirements came available, we could bring them in. Now, Sainsbury's got a lot of press about this about 18 months, 2 years ago, for doing something similar. But this model allows you to do that. And I would suggest that as we move forward as an economy, that this is something you're going to see increasingly more of.
They are an Originum employee, so we're not treating them as agency workers. So that's the key. I think that's the key thing to get across, that Originum decided to embrace the agency worker regulations instead of trying to work around them.
If I'm talking about anything of critical importance in the modern world of work, it's going to be about engagement. And it's a term that's become debased even before we've really got it into common currency, because everybody talks about how important engagement is. No one really understands what it means. And for me, engagement for leaders is the most critical resource for them to get the best out of themselves, out of their colleagues, and out of those who are the talent within their organisation. For us in Oak Ridge, therefore, engagement matters because it matters to us what leaders do, and it matters to us what leaders do because we're critically concerned with the performance of organisations.
And that's where we started. So when we started looking at leadership development program, this is by no means us in Oak Ridge coming up with something clever. This is very much learning as we go along and working alongside David, who's going to explain what they've done in Ascom, which we've been very happy to be part of. We look at the fact that a typical leadership development program is put together by HR and L&D. It's going to cost about £64,000 for 12 people and may not bring much value. So it doesn't say very much about leadership, and it doesn't say very much about HR. If we can't justify costs by showing tangible value, then we shouldn't be doing it. Context in which we started to look at how do you create a value proposition that shows that running leadership development programs is of tangible, demonstrable value to the organisation with real numbers, and has tangible and demonstrable value on the role that HR and L&D are able to play in doing that with an organisation, so that they're not an appendage to the organisation, they're central to bringing value to the organisation.
Hello, I'm David Whitehead from Ascom. I'm at the Oak Ridge HR Forum to talk about talent management and how we develop leaders in periods of uncertainty, and how we can generate a lot of value through doing some specific leadership development actions.
things that we're trying to achieve. We're trying to help these people become more agile. We're trying to help them deal with ambiguity both in the business but also in their own career development and career planning. We're trying to get them to focus on generating value for the business and also think about developing other people. The program is very pragmatic, so we looked at a lot of tools and techniques that people would adopt immediately rather than look at theoretical or academic models.
Hello, my name is John Lees. I'm a career coach and author, and I'm going to be here today talking about the changing face of career management issues for organisations and individuals in the UK. In this slot this afternoon is just offer a few random but hopefully connected thoughts about career management, perspective of both the organisation and the individual. That's what I do. I work with organisations and individuals looking at career issues, write careers books, and you can see the rest of my stuff in the profile that's in the file today. So I'm really interested in the world of work. I'm interested in the way people manage their careers. So we can start with that question really. What is a career all about? You look at the dictionary definition of the verb career, it means sudden movement in a random direction, as in the car careered across the motorway. Well, you may feel as if your career has come together rather like that. Here's a snapshot perspective of what's going on in the world of work. Life under pressure. 100,000 hours, that's the average time that you spend in work. And of course that's what the Americans call face time. That's just the time when your jacket is on the back of your chair. You know, it doesn't include the time that you spend travelling to work, preparing for work, worrying about work, whinging about work. We talked about generations earlier. The experience of this generation, and this is a phenomenon which is only about 20 years old, is that we are now pouring more and more time into work.
I hope you can join me in thanking all of the presenters from today. It's been fantastic. A variation of different comments about VUCA themes. So please, if you could just join me to say thank you to the speakers.